And I was hoping for actual Nigerians drumming.
Yeah, they kind of did depict it like it was about to be wrestling in a circle of Nigerians drumming.
That's what I wanted. Some fire, like torches, and men in the grass skirts with the bones in their noses. Just
And then as the wrestling intensifies, so does their drumming.
have the girls dancing with the floppy tits.
Yeah, just like dancing.
Riddle
away.
said a bunch of shit. Great Khali gave Riddle absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they were talking about Great Khali starting a business for like giants or something because his hands were big.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, you got giant scooters, giant ice cream cones. And he waits for Khali, and Khali's just standing staring at him. He's like, anything? On a stupid Jack in the Box with black shit. It's not even red. They don't have the balls to make it look like blood. It's gotta be black sludge. That gets a holy shit chant.
Oh, Alexa Bliss put a spell on Randy Orton at some point and made him like spit up black goo. So that's why it was black goo.
WrestleMania 37, Night 2. And we are in Tampa, Florida for this one too. We start off by a whale singing. It was America the Beautiful. You follow up those perfect tits from the first night with this creature. Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Then we had the same stupid video as night 1. Just like last year. Very lazy. And then Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan opened. They were dressed like pirates. And then we get a Randy Orton Fiend hype video. So Randy Orton set the Fiend on fire. Alexa Bliss is involved. Fiend came back looking like Freddy Krueger. Orton fights the Fiend. Alexa Bliss is still involved.
Let me do a little bit better than that. Let me recap it based off of my memory. I'm not looking this up. This is all based off of memory. Because this is the good shit.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
So, yes, this is during the pandemic era. So, you got to remember this. But, yes, for some reason, Randy literally set the Fiend on fire. Like, right on him. No tricks. It was like, well, obviously the trick was it was a dummy body or whatever, but you know how usually it's just like an arm or something, but no, this was like full on set him on fire. So there's that. And the Fiend was gone for a few weeks. In his absence, Alexa Bliss was by herself, and she basically does a seance to bring him back, which at some point she's sitting in a pentagram and with candles and saying this ritual to bring him back. Finally, she brings him back. Well, before she brings him back, she challenges Randy Orton to a match. During said match, remember when I made the reference like it's much more believable for her to be doing magic? Well, that's the reference to that. So during this match, she's shooting fireballs at Randy and dropping lighting fixtures on him. Well, not actually dropping it on him, but you know, she makes the lighting fixture fall. And
was this the one where he charged at her and then she moved out of the way and it's like, oh, she teleported. She's so spooky.
Yes.
Okay. This is fucking lame.
And she actually beat Randy Orton because the Fiend comes back. Yes, looking like Freddy Krueger. And he's like, this is the new reformed Fiend. But it was all great, I tells you.
Mm-hmm.
This was the magic of creativity that we no longer have in wrestling.
I will give you that. At least this is something.
Yes.
It's not good something, but it's something. It's better something than what we have today. Exactly. So Randy Orton versus The Fiend. The Fiend came out in a Jack in the Box that was played by Alexa Bliss. They wrestled with mood lighting. The Fiend didn't sell shit. The Fiend ends up blocking in a mandible claw, goes for her sister Abigail. Alexa Bliss is still fucking involved. She's sitting on the stupid Jack in the Box. Black shit's leaking from her head. The lobotomized seals in the crowd start chanting, holy shit. She's sitting there, goo, leaking out of her face. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy, what are you doing? Why? You see people dive off of balconies through 5 tables onto another human being through like barbed wire. That's a holy shit chant. Some bitch on a stupid Jack in the Box with black shit. It's not even red. They don't have the balls to make it look like blood. It's got to be black sludge. That gets a holy shit chant.
Oh, I forgot to also point out during this whole thing, Alexa Bliss put a spell on Randy Orton at some point and made him like spit up black goo. So that's why it was black goo, because that was on brand with this whole thing. And yes, the crowd was chanting "Holy shit!" because at this point we didn't know what the hell was happening.
Stupid is what was happening. Orton wins with an RKO. Bliss is still sitting on the Jack in the Box with black shit leaking off her face. Fiend is standing there looking at her, and then they just disappear. Thank Christ that is the last fucking Bray Wyatt match.
For a while, yes. Again, that's why at that point we didn't know what the hell was happening until, the match just abruptly ends and then the lights go out and no one's there anymore. And it was like, what the fuck? But we thought there was stuff happening, some theatrics. And that's for us, people who aren't all about the graps.
Yeah, but...
And this was the start of stuff, and then there was no stuff.
I would want good stuff.
Well, this is no different than, what Papa Shango used to do. He was entertaining.
I don't think Bray Wyatt was entertaining, but whatever. We have Titus O'Neil, Hulk Hogan, and Eric Bischoff backstage. Bayley killed another segment. Hogan and O'Neil were still dressed like pirates for some reason. It was all just a vehicle for Bischoff to pimp his podcast.
83 weeks.
And then we got a girls' match. Baszler choked out Natalya.
It's a decent match. Hard hitting. But I would say it probably went a little too long. But it was a good match. Or given the circumstances, it was a good match.
What was the circumstances?
Being Natalya was in a wrestling match. That's the circumstance. Tamina was in a wrestling match.
What's wrong with Tamina?
She's as boring as Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Oh my god, if they were in a wrestling match together...
Maybe that's who trained her.
That might be the most boring match in history. Charisma vacuums, they both are.
We have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens hype video. Zayn is going insane. Owens and Zayn fight. Logan Paul is involved, just like Alexa Bliss. Zayn invites Logan Paul to WrestleMania. Owens and Zayn have a match scheduled. So then we have Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. And Owens hit a pop-up powerbomb like immediately. That was like the first move of the match. Of course, it didn't finish anything. And Zayn hit a shit ton of suplexes. One of them was on the apron, and everybody just nutted themselves. Logan Paul sat ringside with sunglasses on. And Zayn hit a hell of a kick. He goes for a second one. Owens counters with a super kick and a stunner, 1, 2, 3. And Logan Paul, he praised Owens after the match. He's like, yeah, good job. And then Zayn didn't like that, and he gets in Logan Paul's face, and Logan Paul ends up shoving Sami Zayn to the mat. And Sami walks off, all pissed off. Logan Paul tries to celebrate with Owens, and then Owens stuns Logan Paul.
Match-wise, it was pretty good between them two. I don't really have much more to say than that, really. But it was a good match between them two.
Yeah, it's just, if you've seen Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn wrestle, you've seen them wrestle.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple of different spots, like I don't even know what that move would be called. It was kind of a Yushi-Giroshi, but it wasn't. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a fisherman suplex into the back of his knee.
Oh, the neck breaker
into his knee.
Fisherman neck breaker.
Yeah, but into his knee. There was that he did. There was the fisherman buster from the top rope. All looking good there. And then I liked when Kevin Owens was running to the ropes and then Sami followed him in with the haluva kick. Too bad it didn't win him the match, but...
No, Owens immediately super kicked him.
Yeah.
Because finishers don't mean anything. I thought it was kind of abrupt. I don't know. They were like wrestling, and then he hit the stunner. And that was over. I guess I wanted them to wrestle longer. Maybe I enjoyed the match.
That's fair.
So we have Matt Riddle and Great Khali in the back. Riddle said a bunch of shit. Great Khali gave Riddle absolutely nothing. RVD comes in to translate, and really he just wants to pimp his rolling papers. Riddle was also on a fucking scooter.
Yeah, they were talking about Great Khali starting a business for like giants or something because his hands are big.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, you got giant scooters, giant ice cream cones, giant cocks. And he waits for Kali, and Kali's just standing staring at him. He's like, anything?
But I will say this though. RVD and Matt Riddle probably had a time after
Probably.
WrestleMania. They're probably still high from that night. Can you imagine like them and Snoop Dogg in the same room? Be high for the rest of the year.
Well, then we have Sheamus versus Matt Riddle for the U.S. title. And they just beat the fuck out of each other. Riddle hit a flipping belly-to-belly suplex from the top rope, which I thought was really cool. And then he trolled Goldberg and did a jackhammer. Well, he took 2 attempts to do it, but he did one. And Sheamus tried to win with Alabama Slam, which just melted my heart. Just a good old-fashioned Alabama Slam. And one for the pin. It's beautiful. Riddle did submissions. Sheamus beat Riddle's ass more. Sheamus fucked up the white noise from the top rope. He goes for a brogue kick. Riddle countered the brogue kick. He goes for a springboard moonsault, and then Sheamus hit a brogue kick like in the middle of the moonsault and got the 1, 2, 3. And Sheamus left Riddle bleeding. I miss Riddle's matches. I do not miss his fucking talking.
Couldn't take him serious. Towards the end there, he was a little bit much. When he was with Randy Orton, and he was always, Randy. But, I don't know, it just, he was a good laugh. You just couldn't take him serious. Like, I remember one time he was cutting a promo with Asuka, and then, like, literally in the middle of the promo, he's like, I forgot what I was saying, and just left.
Yeah. But his matches are really good.
Yeah.
Well, then we get a Big E Apollo Crews hype video. So, Big E is celebrating 100 days as Intercontinental Champion. Apollo Crews attacks Big E and drops steel steps on him. Apollo Crews says he doesn't feel respected. And then Apollo Crews literally turns Nigerian and beats Shinsuke Nakamura, of course. But he's talking in his normal voice, and then he comes out in the sash and stuff. He goes, but I'm Nigerian. My ancestors are princes. It's good shit. So Big E returns from his injury, and he challenges Crews. And Crews wants to fight in a Nigerian drum fight. And I was hoping for actual Nigerians drumming, like in a circle around the ring or something, like dun, 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 dun. But no, they just had fucking drums ringside. And I don't even think they touched the drums.
Yeah, they kind of did depict it like it was about to be, like, they're just about to be wrestling in a circle of Nigerians drumming.
That's what I wanted. Some fucking fire, like torches, and men in the grass skirts with the fucking bones in their noses. Just dun, 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 dun.
And then as the wrestling intensifies, so does their drumming.
Yeah. Have the fucking girls dancing with the floppy tits. Oh, she's possessed by the devil.
Just yeah, just like dancing away.
Oh, man. Missed an opportunity there. Well, we get Big E versus Apollo Crews in the Nigerian drum fight for the Intercontinental title. And for some reason, Big E came out first. I don't know why.
Because he had Wale or whoever that was.
Wale couldn't have done it second?
Well, you know, when they do the musical entrance, that's always first.
I'll take your word for it. So no count out, no disqualification, anything goes. The only way to win is by pinfall or submission. And yeah, like you said, Wale did Big E's theme live. And they started off beating each other with kendo sticks. And then Crews does a Death Valley driver on the apron. And then he tries to murder Big E with the steel steps. Like he set him up and he was going to drop him from the apron, almost like a guillotine. Big E moved out of the way at the last second. And Crews tries to frog splash Big E through a table and misses. And then Big E hits a big ending. And then a giant Damian Priest comes in. And he chokeslams Big E. And then Giant Priest drags Crews on top of Big E 1, 2, 3. It's like Damian Priest's retarded cousin or something.
I think at this point, we would have known him as Dabba-Kato from the Raw Underground, who...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Win by grabbing people by the dick.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you want
That was his rebrand.
He had 2 fights that one episode.
Yeah, it was just funny. He just literally grabbing someone by the dick as the finisher. It's just like, ah! In the face he was making. Oh, that's a finisher, all right.
We get a night 1 recap, and then they let us know that WrestleMania 37 is still in Dallas. So that's good. They didn't change it from the previous night.
Because Vince would have never changed the WrestleMania venue.
And then we get the 2021 Hall of Fame thing. The inductees were RVD, Great Khali, some WWE employee won the Warrior Cancer Trophy, Eric Bischoff, Kane, Molly Holly checked off the box, and then Ozzy Osbourne.
For the celebrity portion. They are getting pretty formulaic with it all.
A little bit. Good. Molly Holly.
Well, who else could it have been? See, I don't even know how to have that discussion. That would indicate that I know who's in it already.
Kane and RVD might have been the only legit. Oh, and Eric Bischoff. I like Great Khali and everything, but I don't think he necessarily deserves a Hall of Fame spot.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of wild that Eric Bischoff was in the Hall of Fame. He was the competition. You're putting him in the Hall of Fame. He almost put you out of business.
Well, yeah, it's easy to be magnanimous after you win. After you win and completely destroy the product.
I just thought it was wild. And all the video packages, of course, was of him running WCW, as that's what it would have been.
Well, after that, we got a girls' match. I think Shotzi sang Ripley's theme live.
I think that was the singer of that theme.
Oh.
That was her early theme before it moved to the
better one. Because that chick sucked.
It wasn't good.
I mean, maybe it's better in the studio, but live, it was awful.
I don't know. It just seemed like she was screaming everything.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just like the heavy metal thing.
Well, no, because there's heavy metal singers that can scream and still carry some sort of melody.
They don't just make noise. You listen to, I think it was like Static X or something like that. It was just like straight up screaming. Yeah, it was like I didn't understand one word in that whole song.
Asuka lost again, so she's 0 for 2.
And we have a new Raw Women's Champion in Rhea Ripley. And I honestly didn't remember this match happening at all, so it was a surprise to me. All of it. I said, obviously, Rhea Ripley's going to win because
it's Asuka.
Yeah.
So we get Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan again. They're dressed like normal people. And then Bayley killed the segment again. I skipped to the end when the Bellas appeared because I don't give a shit.
I don't know. Nothing happened. Bayley came out talking about her WrestleMania moment or something, and then the Bellas came out and instantly buried Bayley. And then the Bellas started doing their little dance thing, and Titus O'Neil started dancing, and Hulk Hogan was talking about his hip, saying something about he can't move his hip or something.
We have Edge, Roman, Daniel Bryan, hype video. Edge won the Royal Rumble and chose Roman. Daniel Bryan somehow weaseled his way into a match with Roman. And then Bryan makes Roman tap, but Edge fucks Bryan during the match. Like he pulled the ref out of the ring. Then Adam Pearce sets up a triple threat match. Roman's the tribal chief now. And that leads us to Daniel Bryan versus Edge versus Roman Reigns. Triple threat match, Universal title. And Roman's the tribal chief, but he has the same shitty Shield music. So it's really weird. Very weird.
And got the new music yet.
Yeah, he's got the necklace and he wants to be acknowledged. He's got the nan. Just
Yeah, we complained about it and he said it wasn't time yet or something like that. Turns out he had to get the music right.
He needed Def Rebel in his life. Well, it starts off with Roman tossing Edge and Bryan out of the ring. And then future badass Jey Uso gets involved because it's no disqualification. And Edge ends up DDTing Jey Uso on the steel steps, and Uso's taken away immediately. Edge and Daniel Bryan wrestle for a bit. Bryan tries to suicide dive Roman. Roman just catches Bryan and suplexes him on the floor. Edge and Roman start going at it, and Roman goes for a Superman punch. Edge counters it with a DDT, and then he goes for a spear. Roman counters that with the Superman punch. And then Roman goes for his own spear, and Edge counters with a sudden set flip. And then Roman and Edge hit a double spear on each other, so they're taking it out. And Bryan hits both men with a diving headbutt. And then Edge gets hit with a running knee from Bryan. Bryan gets Roman in a label lock. Then he does a label lock to Edge. Roman powerbombs Bryan through the announce desk. And then Edge hits Roman with a spear on the floor. And then Edge gets a chair. Roman stops him. Roman goes for a guillotine. Edge ends up countering the guillotine with a crippler crossface. Edge grabs a piece of chair, uses it on Roman's face. And then Bryan and Edge both get Roman in a submission. Edge has the crippler crossface. Bryan has the label lock. They start looking at each other and they start fighting and headbutting. So then Edge hits Bryan and Roman with a spear. Bryan saves Roman by pulling the ref out. And then Edge goes nuts with a chair on Roman and Bryan. And he concertos Bryan. And then Jey Uso saves Roman from the concerto. Edge beats the shit out of Jey with the chair. Roman hits Edge with the spear. And Roman drags Edge on top of Bryan, pins them both. And yeah, the switch definitely flipped for Reigns. And he talked shit to both of them after the match. He stood over him like, yeah, motherfuckers.
Yep, the infamous, I'm going to stack them. I'm going to smash them. I'm going to stack them. And he did just that.
I like how aggressive he was. He didn't seem as corny. I mean, he still did that stupid Superman punch shit, but that and the theme song were the only remnants of the dog.
Yep, they were still getting it all the way done.
WrestleMania 37 would be the final WWE appearance for Billy Kay, as well as Raw commentator Samoa Joe. Both were released. Joe returned to NXT and went on to win the NXT Championship, but then relinquished it shortly afterwards and was released a second time. And then United States Champion Sheamus was absent on Raw after WrestleMania. He appeared the following week and declared that he was a fighting champion. He would issue an open challenge for the title every week or whenever he felt like it. Humberto Carrillo then came out to answer the challenge, but Sheamus attacked Carrillo before the match could start. It's not much of a fighting champion to me. Universal Champion Roman Reigns, along with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso, boasted about retaining his championship over Edge and Daniel Bryan. Reigns was then interrupted by Cesaro, who had a stare down with Reigns and then glanced at the Universal Championship. Before Cesaro could speak, Reigns, Jey, and Heyman left the ring and departed backstage. That's some funny shit. Later, Cesaro confronted Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville about facing Reigns that night, even as a non-title match. However, instead of Reigns, Cesaro faced Jey in the main event. And this ended in disqualification when Seth Rollins interfered. He attacked Cesaro. I guess their rivalry was not over. And the following week, instead of giving Cesaro a title match, Reigns gave Bryan one final opportunity at the title. And this had the added stipulation that if Bryan lost, he would have to leave SmackDown forever. Bryan agreed, and it would be championship versus career. Reigns retained. Bryan left SmackDown shortly after that match. Edge made his return to SmackDown, attacked Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso. Edge was then granted a rematch for the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank. This time it was a one-on-one match, as it was originally supposed to be at WrestleMania. At the event, Reigns retained after interference from Seth Rollins, who lost the men's Money in the Bank ladder match earlier that night and felt Edge cut in front of him in line, I guess. I don't know. This eventually led to a match between Edge and Rollins for SummerSlam. And then Sami Zayn claimed that he lost to Kevin Owens at WrestleMania because he was distracted, wondering if Logan Paul was okay. Zayn then called out Owens for a rematch, which was accepted. Owens defeated Zayn by countout after Zayn ran away. Owens chased Zayn, brought him back to the ring, and gave him a stunner. The two had another rematch at Hell in a Cell. Zayn won that one. They had one more match on SmackDown, and Owens ended up winning. It was the last man standing match. And there was also a qualifying match for Money in the Bank ladder match or some shit. And then new Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews boasted about winning the championship and introduced his new ally, Commander Aziz, who helped him win the title. Crews stated Aziz was a former member of the Nigerian Elite Army. He would have given Big E a rematch for the title that night, but Big E wasn't there. Big E eventually received a rematch against Crews, only for the match to end via disqualification after Aziz interfered and attacked Big E. And that was WrestleMania 37. Up next is WrestleMania 38, Night 1. The last match of Night 1 is Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold. Also, Cody Rhodes returns.
I believe this is our last WrestleMania.
Finally.
We'll move on to something different after.
Well, before that, we have WCW Sold Out 1999. We're in Charleston, West Virginia. The main event is a stun gun ladder match between Scott Hall and Goldberg. This is based on Hall helping Nash beat Goldberg at Starrcade for the World Heavyweight title. This, of course, ended the undefeated streak Goldberg had, which was more important than the title, they would have you believe.
This was pretty much the beginning of the end for WCW, I would remember.
So the objective of the match was to retrieve the stun gun by climbing a ladder and tasing your opponent with the gun to win.
Now, I got a question. So you still have to pin him, or if you tase him, that's it? I mean, I guess that would be it, but...
I think you still have to pin him. But you can't pin him without tasing him.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
It doesn't count unless you've tased him first? Okay.
Yeah, you got to climb the ladder. That's step one. You got to retrieve the taser. You got to tase the guy. And then you got to pin or submit him.
Okay. What does the other guy do? Like, if he doesn't
He just takes it.
But can he still win if the other guy retrieves the taser? Like, let's say you get up there and you get the taser. I can't just, like, grab it and use this.
No, that's cheating.
Okay.
I'm expecting some shit. I do know that.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be some shit. I'm actually interested to see who wins.
Well, the other matches to look forward to are Bam Bam Bigelow versus Wrath. We'll see if the newcomer overcomes the experiment.
At least it'll be hard-hitting.
Hopefully. And then we have Lex Luger versus Conan. Apparently they're not friends anymore.
They've split.
And then we have Mr. Perfect and Barry Windham versus the dastardly, dynamic team of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and the debut of Dangerous David Flair.
Well, that doesn't seem like an even match. You got like two actual wrestlers versus Ric Flair and David Flair. He's grown up in the business. Maybe he's really good. David Flair, that is.
He made Vince Russo look muscular.
I mean, really, he looks like a teenager.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is or not.
He looks like the son of a wrestler.
But without his athletic abilities. Like, with none of the genetics. I thought he only had, like, one match.
David Flair?
Yeah. Did he ever
win?
He has some history.
Yeah, he teamed with Daphne and Crowbar. Oh my God, he beat Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash.
At least they tried to give him a run. They gave him a fair shake at trying to get over.
Yeah, I remember the Crowbar shit. He defeated Dean Malenko.
Did he out wrestle him?
Oh, of course. Probably put him in a chokehold.